Hello and welcome, poutníci po hvězdách, which in a beautiful language of my beautiful motherland, Czech Republic, means star wanderers. Thank you so much for stopping by for another quick astro coffee break with me. You know the drill. Do not dilly-dally, chop chop, pip pip, cheerio. Pull up that chair, grab the coffee mug, stroke that muffin, bite into that cat, the other way around, switch on the electric blanket, and let's dive together into the muddy, confused waters of Pisces new moon. It's late February, my least favorite month. If I had a cosmic delete button, this bleak, muddy, flu-ridden, post-festive bloat of a month would be the first to go. No blockbusters premiere, no thrilling world events, just an eternal Tuesday of a time period. Until now, of course, because 2025 Feb is flipping the script, breaking its own mold and possibly setting itself on fire in the process. The world, just casually watching history unfold in real time, hiding behind a pillow, popcorn buckets in hand, trying to make sense of the latest installment of America's socio-political horror series. Because, let's be honest, whatever happens there eventually becomes everyone's business. And just as the collective outrage starts forming something resembling a strategy, a resistance, the cosmos decides to dump a bucket of kerosene onto the fire. Enter the upcoming retrogrades, eclipses, and, right on cue, the new moon in Pisces on February 27, 2025. Let's get into it. So this isn't just any new moon. This is the fever dream new moon, the kind of lunation that feels like you've stumbled into Lynchian dream sequence. Moody lighting, cryptic dialogue, everyone moving in slow motion. And the real kicker? It's the last new moon Saturn and Neptune will witness together in Pisces in over a century. The cosmic elders are packing their bags, leaving the sign of misty-eyed idealism, and this lunation, it's their big exit interview. But before we dive into the new moon, let's take a scenic tour of our current astrological hellscape, because newsflash, down here below there's as much chaos as there is above. And as we know, as above so below, as within so without. It isn't just a catchy phrase, it's an actual thing, so we better get ready for the tangled, confused mess of the external events to activate the same internally. Yay! Before we look closely at the jarring astrology ahead, you might want to consider checking out my Pisces season workshop over at my blog, offering in-depth explorations of the moon, the high priestess, and the hanged man archetypes and how they relate to Pisces energy. There's original tarot spread for deep insights, a guided journaling ritual designed to unlock the hidden landscapes of your subconscious, a potent spellwork practice to embody your intentions and release what no longer serves you, and practical, relatable guide for incorporating Piscean wisdom into your daily life. You'll find a link in this episode's description. Let's talk about Mars retrograde that just ended on the 23rd of February, and we're going from passive-aggressive to full-blown battle mode. So Mars is going direct in Cancer. That's February 23rd. Mars retrograde is always an exercise in frustration, but in Cancer, it's a masterclass in emotional suppression, childhood trauma, and wanting to rage punch someone while simultaneously sobbing into your weighted blanket. The past few months have been a psychological boot camp, confronting us with what truly makes us feel safe, or more accurately, what makes us want to put our heads through drywall when we don't feel safe. And let's be real. Beyond personal grievances, this transit has mirrored the wider world in brutal ways. Families torn apart by immigration pogroms, ruthless corporate purges masquerading as budget cuts, and a global mood that vacillates between numbness and simmering fury. Over the past few weeks, we all globally felt a violent push into emotional states that are detrimental to our health. By darkly absurd political spectacle, the incredibly cruel yet oddly gleefully executed chainsaw-style firings and purging of government structures, which, let's be absolutely clear here, have nothing to do with saving money and everything to do with eroding democratic freedoms and instilling shock, fear and panic. But now, Mars is waking up, shaking off the waterlogged emotional paralysis and moving forward. Momentum is back, the lights are on, and Cancer, being the sentimental warrior that it is, means that actions will be bold but teary. Picture a war cry but make it emotionally complex. And here's another plot twist no one ordered but everyone is getting. Venus is retrograding in Aries. So, hot on the heels of Mars' grand return to form, Venus is about to throw a wrench into our personal and collective love stories. On March 1st, Venus stations retrograde in Aries, a placement that is already about as subtle as a drag queen at a conservative gala. Aries Venus is bold, brash, and loves hard. But in retrograde, it's an ex-lover showing up unannounced, a long-lost passion reigniting in the most inconvenient way, or a dramatic reassessment of what and who truly sets your heart on fire. Now, if you're feeling a strange sense of déjà vu, there's a reason for that. 8 years ago, in the first quarter of 2017, Venus last danced her retrograde tango in Aries. Remember those days? What were you being confronted with in your personal life back then? On the global stage, the world was grappling with the first weeks of Trump's first presidency, marked, surprise, surprise, by a flurry of executive orders, including those related to immigration, which sparked widespread protests and legal challenges. There was also a focus on economic policy, with discussions and early actions related to tax reform and deregulation. Sounds familiar? It's as if Venus is pulling us back to the same point on the great spiral of history, but with a crucial difference. We are not simply repeating the past, we are revisiting it from an elevated position. If we believe that the spiral of time is indeed turning upwards, we have now the opportunity to approach these familiar challenges with newfound wisdom and experience. This retrograde isn't just about personal relationships, it's about re-evaluating our collective values, our societal loves and how we express them. Will we repeat the same patterns, or will we leverage the lessons of the past to forge a more enlightened future? Somehow I doubt that, but there's hope, there's always hope. This retrograde will force us to examine not just our relationships, but also, maybe more importantly, our values, what we prioritize, how we spend our money, and whether the things we once wanted still hold their allure. Given that Venus will dip back into Pisces later in the month, there's also a kind of spiritual reckoning at play. This isn't just about romantic entanglements, it's about how we define pleasure and what truly brings us joy. Spoiler alert, the answer may not be what you expect. 2017, 8 years ago. Have we learned anything? Or are we just doomed to cycle through the same bad decisions with better Wi-Fi? And finally, the Neptune-Saturn swan song. Reality? Illusion? Who even knows anymore? So for the past 12 years, Neptune's been swimming in a Pisces pool, while Saturn's been doing his best lifeguard impression for about 2.5 years. Now, they are both packing their floaties, and frankly, it's about time. Let's talk Neptune in Pisces. Think of it as a 12-year acid trip for the collective consciousness. We've had spiritual awakenings, sure, but mostly we've been living in a world where almost everyone's perception of reality and worldview is shaped by social media. A world where the oxymoron of alternative facts became a part of our shared global vernacular, and truth eroded faster than a sandcastle at high tide. Remember when your uncle started quoting 10-second conspiracy clips from TikTok as gospel? Yeah, that's Neptune in Pisces. Saturn, bless his bureaucratic heart, tried to build a filing system for all this madness, but let's be honest, he was basically trying to organize fog. This new moon, happening in the final hazy moments of their Pisces residency, is like the cosmic equivalent of a last call at a really weird party. It's asking, what illusions have you clung to? Did you actually manifest that winning lottery ticket, or was it just a really convincing dream? What spiritual lessons did you learn, or did you just get really good at believing in lizard people? And most importantly, what boundaries have been obliterated? Because let's face it, with everyone believing their own version of reality, those boundaries are probably flatter than a pancake. With both planets moving into Aries soon, the era of Piscean reverie is closing. Time to sober up, folks. The dawn of direct, action-driven paradigm is upon us, which hopefully means less time arguing with your neighbor about chemtrails and more time, actually doing something useful, stepping outside and committing a radical act of kindness towards someone else than yourself. Maybe. Would be nice. Okay, you guys, now back to the main event. This new moon is the final exam for all the Piscean lessons we've been cramming for over the last decade. It's not just about new beginnings, it's about what you've actually integrated. Are you setting intentions rooted in reality, or are you still writing vision boards with no action plans? This is the moment to embrace the magic, but grounded in something tangible. A dream without a structure is just a fantasy, right? So this lunation demands we take the spiritual insights we've gathered and apply them to actual life. Because, newsflash, enlightenment is not just a vibe, it's hard work. Okay, now let's zoom in further and talk about how this new moon and its surrounding transits will affect each zodiac signs. This is where it gets fun. Each sign is receiving this lunation in a different house, which means different themes are at play. Here we go. Aries. The new moon lands in your 12th house of the subconscious, which means, brace yourself, you actually have to sit still and feel things. I know, horrifying. You'd rather be conquering the world than engaging in a deep emotional excavation, but the universe is handing you a spiritual shovel and saying, start digging. Old wounds, buried fears, unresolved dreams, they are all floating to the surface like messages in bottles from your past self. Meditation, dream journaling, or even just letting yourself cry at that one Pixar movie you pretended doesn't get to you. I'm looking at you, Wall-E, because, that's kind of a documentary at this point, not even a sci-fi. All of this could bring major breakthroughs. The key? Don't fight the stillness, embrace it. Your best ideas and deepest insights come when you stop running and actually listen. Taurus, your 11th house of community is under the new moon's spell, so let's talk about your social circles. Are your friends lifting you up, or are they just along for the ride, draining your energy like emotional freeloaders? This lunation wants you to be picky. No, scratch that. Ruthless about who gets VIP access to your life. Maybe it's time to find new like-minded souls who support your dreams, rather than quietly sabotaging them with passive-aggressive comments. Or perhaps you are realizing that the real MVPs have been there all along, and you just need to invest more in those relationships. Either way, this is your chance. Your last chance to impress me? No, to build or rebuild your dream team. And no, people who only text when they need something do not make the cut. Gemini, this new moon illuminates your 10th house of career and legacy, which means your professional reputation is about to get a cosmic shakeup. If you've been phoning it in, the universe is about to hit you with a motivational lightning bolt. No more half-hearted ambition. What do you actually want to be known for? The energy is ripe for setting some serious career goals, making bold moves, and maybe even launching something new. If you're at crossroads, take this lunation as your cue to get clear about your professional path. And if you've been busting your ass but feeling unseen, trust that your work is about to get the recognition it deserves. Just make sure you're chasing success that actually fulfills you, not just one that looks good on paper. Cancer, the 9th house of expansion is calling your name, and honestly, it's about time. If you've been playing it safe, the new moon is here to remind you that growth happens outside your comfort zone. Maybe it's time to book that trip, take that class, or dive into that big, intimidating project that you've been putting off. The universe is saying, go bigger. Expand your mind, your worldview, your experiences. And if you've been feeling stuck in a rut, This lunation is your permission slip to shake things up and surprise yourself. You didn't come here to live small, so stop acting like you did. Fellow Leos, transformation station, and you are the conductor. This new moon lands in your 8th house, which means you are about to get very real with yourself about intimacy, power, and the things you usually avoid thinking about. Maybe it's money matters, maybe it's a deep emotional reckoning, maybe it's both, but either way, it's time to clean house. Have debts, emotional or financial, that need handling? Address them. Have fears that have been holding you back? Confront them. This is about stepping into your power, but that requires letting go of baggage first. Think of it as an emotional glow-up, intense, a little scary, but absolutely worth it. Virgo, your 7th house of relationships is front and center, which means, yep, this is the time to do a relationship audit. Have you been giving more than you're getting? Probably, because you're a Virgo. Playing therapist when you should be playing partner? Most likely, because you're a Virgo. Or maybe you've been so focused on work and responsibilities that love has been on the back burner. The new moon is handing you a mirror and saying, figure this out. If you're single, someone interesting might be on the horizon, but make sure they're worth your time. If you're in a relationship, expect clarity about where things are heading. And if something isn't working, well, it's probably time to stop making excuses. Libras, with the new moon in your 6th house of routines and wellness, it's time to get your life together, or at least try. Are your daily habits supporting your well-being, or are you operating on caffeine? Hello, procrastination and sheer chaos? The universe is suggesting a reset. This isn't about perfection, it's about sustainability. Small changes, big impact. Try tweaking your schedule, improving your work-life balance, or even just committing to getting a decent amount of sleep. Seriously, your body will thank you. It's time to treat yourself like the high-functioning, thriving human you aspire to be. Scorpio, the 5th house of creativity and romance is lit up, and honestly, this is your cue to have some fun. Been feeling creatively blocked? This lunation is like a cosmic Red Bull. Your inspiration is about to get a boost. Romance-wise, if you're single, expect some sparks. If you're in a relationship, inject some passion back into it. The key is to lean into joy, whether that's through art, love, or just doing things that make you laugh until your stomach hurts. Life is serious enough. Let yourself play. Sagittarius, home, family, and emotional foundations are on the menu. With this new moon in your 4th house, maybe it's time for a literal move, or maybe you just need to emotionally recognize your inner world. If family drama has been brewing, expect clarity, or at least a solid game plan for dealing with it. The goal here is to create a space, physically and emotionally, that feels like home. That might mean setting boundaries, having tough conversations, or just finally buying that ridiculously comfortable couch you keep thinking about. Whatever it takes to feel safe, do it. Capricorn, your words have power right now, and with the new moon in your 3rd house, you are being called to use them wisely. Have something to say? Say it! Whether it's writing, speaking, teaching, or just finally having that conversation you've been avoiding, now's the time. This is also a great moment to dive into learning. Pick up a book, take a class, expand your knowledge. Your mind is sharp, so put it to good use. And if you've been feeling disconnected from your community, this is your chance to bridge the gap. Aquarius, the new moon in your 2nd house wants you to take a hard look at your finances and self-worth. Are you valuing yourself properly? Are you spending in alignment with your goals? This is a money mindset reset. The way you handle your resources say a lot about how you see yourself, so make sure your actions reflect your true worth. Set financial goals, reassess your budget, and if you've been underestimating yourself, knock it off. Pisces, it's your time to shine, Pisces! This new moon in your 1st house is a cosmic rebirth. What do you want to be? What kind of life do you want to create? The universe is handing you a blank slate, and it's time to dream big. Shed old versions of yourself that no longer serve you and step into the most unapologetic, authentic version of you. This is your moment. Own it. This new moon is a portal, a cosmic reset button wrapped in glittering Piscean magic. It's an invitation to dissolve your doubts, let go of outdated stories, and step boldly into the dreamiest, most aligned version of yourself. As Oscar Wilde so brilliantly put it, be yourself. Everyone else is already taken. There is no time like now to embrace the quirks, the visions, and the weird, wonderful magic that is uniquely yours. So set those intentions, trust the unknown, and remember, when in doubt, add a little extra sparkle. The universe loves a good plot twist. And this is your moment to shine. Ciao! Hey, if you've learned anything, if you chuckled a bit or threw your phone across the room, I do not discriminate. I am just so grateful to give you any feels. But I don't know, you might feel inspired to tip me and buy me a coffee, because you know, in the past life I was coffee, and it is my great ambition to return to this state by drowning myself in coffee. So I don't know, a link to send me a little tip or a big tip is in this episode's description. There are other offerings like guided meditations and a workshop specifically designed to navigate Pisces season that you'll find over at my blog, link once again in this episode's description.